Hello and welcome. Kerry here from Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet, along with my friends Adam, Carnivore Today, Lynn, Midlife Carnivore, Todd, the Carnivore Cure, and Ashley at Carnivore Brothers. How's everyone doing tonight?
Hello.
Doing
Great.
fantastic.
Doing great.
We just had a really fun, interesting Zoom call on healinghumanity.life honoring Todd, the Carnivore Cure, as one of our Healing Humanity heroes. Thank you so much for doing that, Todd.
Oh, thanks for having me. That was quite the honor. I think you got to change the heroes thing. That makes it pretty uncomfortable.
Right.
But
Well,
honor.
you're inspiring a lot of people, and I'm sure even if you just inspire one, in the end, you'll be like, that was totally worth it. So
100%.
So tonight we're doing our Thursday night live Carnivore Q&A. We're going to be giving away a lot of stuff. We're going to be answering your questions. So to start off, there's a bunch of people jumping on. I want to do this announcement because this is pretty awesome. Our friends at Independence Arc Farms are sponsoring a $225 beef bundle. It's Independence Arc. We're going to do a random drawing at the last Thursday of this month. And to qualify, you just have to follow each of these individuals you see on the screen. Lynn, Ashley, Todd, Adam. Their links are in the description. And then you sign up for the email newsletter, which is in the description. And then we're randomly going to pick one of those emails at the end of the month. And someone's going to get this $225 box of amazing grass-fed, grass-finished beef from an independent farmer right here in the United States.
That's awesome.
Thank you to Independence Arc Farms for that. We're also going to be doing some other giveaways, and in a very similar way, you just subscribe to each one of the speakers listed here. And maybe for the first one, we'll do the shirt. We're going to give away a Healing Humanity shirt in just a couple of minutes. You have to do hashtag ribeye with your question or comment, hashtag ribeye, and then we will select a winner. So start posting your questions. And let me make sure I have that set up. We have some comments coming in. Now, Adam, how's it going?
I got my audio working. Hello, everyone. Good to see you again.
I want to get this StreamYard tool working here.
Did you get to a separate room in the Airbnb?
Yeah, I have to. Carrie's not the quietest.
Too loud.
Speaker. I'm actually downstairs. So.
Are you making Lisa wait this whole time?
No,
I don't know where she's at.
I showed her to where her room is, and I think she's getting settled. So
okay.
But we're gonna go get some dinner after this call, and I think we're all looking forward to it. She's just got off the flight, so
it's a little bit surreal that we were all like together just a few days ago.
Isn't it crazy?
Right.
Yeah.
And Lynn, you're still down there. We're up here in the freezing cold Chicago.
Well, I just came from Scottsdale to Flagstaff, and then we had snow flurries. It's in the low 30s, so it's not. I'm sure it's colder where you are, but it's not warm right now.
Right. Awesome. Well, look, we got some questions coming in already, so we're going to start answering some of your questions. If you're just jumping on now, the current hashtag is hashtag ribeye. And let me put that on the bottom of the screen here. Or not. How about we put this on the bottom of the screen? Adam, what's that all about?
Where? What? Visit for the promo code?
Promo code.
Oh, for .life. So if anyone needs a little bit of help or hand holding, or maybe needs to learn a little bit more about the carnivore diet in general, we have a carnivore diet foundations course that Kerry can run you through in our membership site, healinghumanity.life. It's a wonderful, supportive community. Everyone that you see here on this panel is a part of that. And Todd is also. I'm not sure why his camera's off right now, but he's also in there. So yeah, 50% off your first month. And, we'd love to see everybody in there, have you join us. Basically it's kind of like iron sharpens iron. So if you have any questions, post those in the community chat, and you're going to have quite a few responses from many different perspectives on what has helped those folks in that particular situation. We have breaking addictions calls 4 times a week, Lynn, or 3?
3
times a week.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so those are sort of becoming very, very popular on healinghumanity.life. So a lot of people struggle with sugar addiction. Kerry's recently put out some videos and very passionate about helping people with sugar addiction, because this is a life or death situation. It's a very serious situation for a lot of people. And there's a lot that actually need help in that area. So we have devised sort of our own modification of a 12-step program that is more geared towards food addiction and from a keto/carnivore way of eating. So it's kind of unique out there in the space. And if you have any issues with food addiction or sugar addiction, we'd love to help you out there. So now I'm rambling officially.
Yeah,
so
enough.
I'll give it back to Kerry.
Thank you, Adam. Awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to share this. Shout out Dr. Kiltz. We got another meetup coming up in Tampa, February 8th at Texas Day Brazil. Dr. Kiltz is a madman. He's incredible. Absolutely love that guy. He decided let's do a big meetup down in Tampa, and the proceeds are going to support Healing Humanity documentary. We have all of these amazing speakers: Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, Dr. Kelly Ritter, Bella Steak and Butter Gal is going to be there. Myself and Adam will be there as well. And so if you're interested in that, it's kiltzmeetup.com. I'll have to add a link in the description, but it's pretty easy to remember. Kiltz Meetup, MEAT, up.com. All right. Let's take some questions now. We have a few new members. Shannon, thank you. Frost Dark, thank you. Who's Your Carnivore gifted 5 Homestead Hall memberships. Really appreciate that. Who's Your Carnivore?
Wow.
Brett. I think we're going to see Brett in Chicago.
Yeah, we are.
2 days from now. So that's pretty awesome. Thank you so much. And Jackie became a new YouTube member. Question for Kerry: what's going on with the guy in Alaska? I believe she's talking about Bill. Bill is doing incredible. We filmed Bill a year later. He's down almost 300 pounds now, and he was able to get out of his house and into the beauty of Alaska. If you guys aren't watching Bill, you're missing out. Just look up Bill Knott, N-O-T-T, on YouTube. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. And if I go down in the chat, he's probably on here right now chatting. The next question we have is from Wayne. How often on electrolytes and how many gallons of water each day are recommended daily? Adam, you want to take a shot at that? Maybe we'll just go from person to person.
Well, personally, I don't take any electrolytes whatsoever. And as far as water goes, the quantity of water, whenever I'm thirsty, that's when I drink. I don't try to drink a certain amount of water or anything like that. I did have some cramping early on, but I found out that I was having too much salt, and caffeine was also causing that as well. So once I quit those, I don't really have a need for electrolytes for me personally.
Yeah, I think with gallons, that alone is just too much, because yes, we do drink, especially when you're first starting. We don't necessarily understand or realize how much water we get from eating fruit and vegetables. And so when you stop eating that, you may unknowingly not be drinking as much. You're not getting as much water as you typically do. So it's definitely good to drink, maybe eight glasses of water a day is a good recommendation. Maybe you might need a little more, but I wouldn't be doing gallons, because too much water can dilute your electrolytes and cause problems. So you have to be careful that you're not drinking too much.
Thank you, Lynn. Question from Belle. Maybe this is a good one for Lynn. I'm not sure. I'm getting kidney stones, but I've been on carnivore for a year. I don't want to stop. Can you advise?
Oh boy. If you look online, it's going to tell you to eat fruits and vegetables and grains, right? and decrease the amount of meat that you're eating. I would definitely maybe track for a few days and see how much protein you're getting, and make sure the higher percentage, maybe 75% of your diet is from fat, because you can get too much protein on a carnivore diet. also making sure that you're drinking fluid and that you're not dehydrated. I don't know if your blood pressure, make sure your blood pressure is not too low, make sure your heart rate's not too high, which can be both symptoms of dehydration. So there are several factors that could be playing into this right now, but I would say track. Make sure you're not getting too much protein and make sure you're getting fluid.
Thank you, Lynn. For those that are just joining us, if you use hashtag ribeye with your question, we're going to be doing a drawing in just a minute, and we're going to randomly be giving away Healing Humanity t-shirt. Hashtag ribeye. Question for Ashley. I see some who eat up to 4 pounds of meat each day and lose weight and body fat, and others who are OMAD. Which seems to be better for most?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think what my answer would be is, I hate to say it this way, but it depends on you. And your body will actually probably go through various phases too. Because I know when I first started, I really adapted to the OMAD pretty quickly, where it was pretty easy for me to eat quite a bit in one setting and then be satiated until the next time I got hungry. And it was pretty consistent. And I was also trying to do some, the intermittent fasting in there as well. But then I got to a point where I started getting really hungry. And I think if I remember correctly, we've all kind of been through those phases. I know Kerry and Adam, we went through these like just ravenous phases where all of a sudden it just came back, and one meal a day didn't seem like however much you put in your body wasn't enough. And so a lot of people say it kind of depends on nutritionally where you're at and how much you actually need in the setting, and your body will really tell you. So that's usually my advice, is listen to your body. If you're getting hungry and you're craving the meat and the fats, that's what you should be eating. And I guess the other thing I would add to that is the fat intake. Make sure you're getting enough fats. That'll definitely help your body and help you stay satiated.
Thank you, Ashley.
He followed up on that at the bottom there too, that Wayne did. He said, I didn't know whether to eat more and if that would speed up my metabolism or fast longer between. So thanks. Yeah, absolutely. And I just was going to follow up on that because that's really interesting. Thomas DeLauer had a video where he did like top 7 of his best doctor interviews. And there's this guy on there, I forget his name, but it was pretty interesting because it's along the line of priming, which helped me so much boost my metabolism. But he works with MMA fighters, professional MMA fighters. And when he was trying to get him to cut weight for these fights, he found out that he needed, rather than, let's say, bringing him down to like 1,700 calories and working him out all day, they were stalling out, especially some of the bigger fighters. So he started feeding them like 3,500 calories a day, building up their metabolism, and then dropping them to 2,500 calories a day. And then they would lean out like crazy with a higher metabolism. Or if you undereat, it tanks your metabolism. And I felt that now in the last 24 months of carnivore, I've tanked my metabolism 3 times by undereating and built it back up by eating with a purpose. And when I was doing it one time for 6 months, I ate 7 pounds of beef every day for 6 months, and it had my metabolism through the roof. And that's when I put on a lot of lean body mass, and then I lost like 74 pounds in like 3 months doing that. So,
wow, incredible.
Yeah, there's something to know it, your body knowing it's got enough nutrition that it's able to then say, all right, now I'm ready to lose some of the excess.
Yeah.
All right, in about 2 minutes, we're going to be doing our first drawing of the night. Hashtag ribeye. Post your question, post your comment. Jesus and Carnivore said, Kerry, today is my day 500 eating ribeyes to celebrate. Jesus and Carnivore, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Question for Adam. Are you familiar with Wild Fork Food Retailer specializing in meat? If you don't have one, you can order online.
I am familiar with them, and their prices are really reasonable. Those are actually the tomahawks that I sent you, Kerry, was from Wild Fork. It's actually good meat.
Adam, you got those for the girls for their birthday, and it wasn't my birthday, but I got to celebrate a little bit as well. We all enjoyed
for
them.
everybody.
Those things were incredible. Shout out Wild Fork Food. All right, let's do a drawing. Here we go. Let me remove this one. We're gonna do a first drawing. Hashtag ribeye. Let's see who won here. We got a bunch of entries.
Nice.
Here we go.
Everybody wants a Healing Humanity shirt.
Healing Humanity shirt. If you're in the lower 48, if you're out of the country, we will give you a $30 membership to Healing Humanity. Praying Extraordinary Prayer.
Oh,
maybe.
nice.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Adam,
Congratulations.
where do they claim their prize?
Praying Extraordinary Pray. You can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway and enter your information on the form there, and we'll get you hooked up.
Good stuff. All right. So the next prize we're going to give away is a Redmond's Salt Shaker. So again, for those that have just jumped on, it's really easy to play. You just subscribe to each host listed in the YouTube description. Click, click, click. It takes 2 seconds. And then you have to participate in the live chat. And this time it'll be hashtag SALT, SALT. If you do a question, you get good karma and your odds of winning drastically increase. So post a good question with hashtag SALT or a comment with hashtag SALT. And we're going to randomly pick a winner here shortly. The next question we have is for Todd. Todd, what effect does nicotine have on your fast blood sugar, and is it enough to worry about it?
You know, I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to my blood sugar, but what I can tell you is it has a great effect on your natural hunger cues and your hunger signaling. And I think I think that it plays with your gut bacteria, and possibly even I'm going to get crucified for saying this, but possibly in a good way, because I have a theory of why I stopped the nicotine craving, and it's just a complete and total theory. I have nothing to go on here other than just a very strange. I don't understand how I quit nicotine when I wasn't trying to quit nicotine. Like, my body told me I was quitting nicotine, and the only thing I had to go off of it later, putting it together, was basically that some farmers say that it's been a long time thing that they use nicotine to deworm their horses, and so they plant tobacco leaves on their farm, and when the horses are having a gut bacteria problem and having parasites in their gut, they eat the nicotine, and it kills the bad bacteria and the bad parasites, but it does not harm their good bacteria in their stomach, where if they give them wormer, it kills both their good and bad bacteria. And he said the horses would have a taste for it when they needed to kill the parasites, and they wouldn't eat it when they didn't. So that was kind of interesting. And what I thought was, well, I wonder if by doing carnivore and having that Copenhagen, if all the bad bacteria and parasites went away, and so did my taste for nicotine, because I chewed 2 cans of Copenhagen Long Cut a day for 26 years. Well,
wow.
And it just went away. I didn't want it last October 26. No, sorry, a year ago, last October 26, that was 2023. I quit chewing cold turkey, and not because I wanted to, because I just lost my craving for it, and I haven't had it since. So, but I don't know, but I do know that my signaling has gotten better. My real hunger cues and being able to listen to my body, what it wants, has gotten a lot better. So, and I want to.
I can test the sugar part of it.
Go. Sorry.
Because there's more. Yeah, no, it's okay. I just your point is fantastic, because yes, it does affect your gut microbiome, and in nicotine itself, there are benefits to nicotine. We have nicotinic receptors in our body. So, but when it comes to blood sugar specifically, nicotine is known to raise blood sugar. It is known as a risk factor for type 2 diabetes. It also increases insulin resistance. In addition, in more than one way, but one of the ways is it interferes with the brain. So, and it basically interrupts brain signaling with your pancreas. So there's a couple things. It'll increase your insulin resistance on the cellular level, but it'll also interrupt the signals between your brain and your pancreas. So your pancreas is not even going to produce as much insulin. So the insulin you do have, you're less sensitive to, meaning your blood sugar is going to go up. It also promotes inflammation, which makes it more difficult for your body to regulate blood sugar. So whether to worry about it, honestly, that's an individual thing, but I would say, be educated and know what the risk factors are, And then you can determine whether it's something you need to worry about. I personally would worry about it because I don't want anything that's going to put me at higher risk of type 2 diabetes.
Is Lynn cutting out for anybody else? Or
Yeah, she is a little
Yeah, a
bit.
little bit.
Okay.
Did you catch
Maybe-
any of that?
For sure.
Yeah,
Caught
most of it.
Caught most of it. The end of it, you kind of froze up a little bit, but
Yeah, I don't know how the good connection is here at this place where I'm staying.
Try to reduce your screen resolution to like 480p if that works.
Okay, I will give that a try.
All right. And question for Adam. How's the documentary coming along?
It's coming along fantastic. We just finished filming Tammy Peterson and Laura Spath and Chris Spath. So yeah, things couldn't go better. We're coming in on the home stretch for the feature length film itself. And yeah, it couldn't be going any better right now, actually.
Yeah, and tomorrow, right behind me here, we're going to be filming Dr. Lisa Wiedemann. And then we're going to a big meetup on Saturday, so looking forward to that, but definitely on the home stretch. We thank you all for your support. Next question from Tom. Recently diagnosed with ascending aortic artery of 4 centimeters by 2.8 centimeters. Will strict carnivore be the best option to stop progression? I don't know if anyone wants to take that one. That sounds like a Dr. Phil
Dr.
Bavadia
Ovadia.
question.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm working on my screen resolution.
My response would be, I'm not a doctor. That would be a good question for Dr. Ovadia. If it were me, I would be doing carnivore. It's I had congestive heart failure. I had an irregular heartbeat. Everything is resolved for me on carnivore. Eating a proper human diet, getting rid of inflammation. Those would all be things that I would be trying to do. And the best way to do that is with carnivore.
And it's important to make sure that your blood pressure is not too high. And so, because you don't want too much pressure on the issue there. So you would definitely want to make sure your blood pressure is lower, and which is what you can accomplish on a carnivore diet.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to be doing another drawing in just a minute here. Hashtag SALT. If you want to get entered to win, post your question. And we have 50% off our Healing Humanity membership site right now. If you want to learn more about that or give us a try, there's a link in the description below. We got multiple Zoom calls every week, and we got courses and just a great community if you're getting started. Question for me. Can you tell us about your experience in dry fasting?
Yeah.
How many days did you dry fast for? Just under 3 days. And this was something I was doing for myself, by myself, that I kind of regret putting on YouTube because there's a lot of people like, why are you doing this challenge? It was never a challenge. I wasn't recommending other people. I felt great, although near the end, I was starting to feel kind of tired. And I was going to go 3 days. I probably would have, but I had to come out here and do this. And so I was kind of planning. I had a couple calls coming up. So I had some bone broth, I had some meat broth, and then I went into lion diet after that. And there's a great book, The Phoenix Protocol, if anyone is interested in learning more. It's interesting when you talk about fasting. It's kind of like talking about carnivore to the uninitiated for the first time. Everybody just freaks out. If you really want to learn more about it, though, that book is incredible. I'm going to be doing more. I feel great doing it. So a question for Adam. When is the documentary coming out? You said it's going well, but when is it coming out?
It is. We are aiming to have a finished film by the end of 2025, and then starts the marketing and distribution effort. So because this is our first time doing this, we're leaning on professionals that have done this before. And it's a first time process for us. So we're hoping that we will have a product that people can actually view in 2026.
All right. Daughters of the King is asking Todd, how much water should we be drinking every day?
Well, oddly enough, it depends on what your body actually wants. I didn't know the answer to that question until I started. Here we go. We're going to light it on fire. But until I started doing dry fasting, when I started doing dry fasting, I found that your body becomes much more fat adapt, and it creates new metabolic pathways to fat adaptation because it needs the metabolic fluid that's stored in your fat cells when it breaks down fat. And so I was drinking over 2 gallons of water a day before I started dry fasting. And then after I started dry fasting, I became much more fat adapt, which meant I was more satiated. I had less dips in energy and less fatigue. And my water needs and even salt. When I started doing that, I stopped craving salt after dry fasting. And my water needs went down from like 2 gallons a day to just like 64 to 80 ounces a day. So it was dramatic, and that's where I've been ever since. So now I also think that the only caveat to that is when you're oxalate dumping. I've noticed that when you're oxalate dumping, that your body wants a lot more water. It seems to want to kind of push out the oxalates or something to that effect, I hear. So I've had that, but it's one of those N=1 things. You really, I think the biggest thing you can do on carnivore is get real clean and start to heal up your signaling and start to create a good mouth microbiome, gut microbiome, heal the mitochondria, heal your metabolic disease, and then after that, you just got to listen to your body, and it'll tell you exactly what you need. Then it's just as simple as listening to it.
Thank you, Todd. Question from Chris Stearns, my buddy Chris Stearns, member for 6 months now. Now that the doc is finishing up, will you all be releasing the subsequent series on healinghumanity.life? See you Saturday. I'm not sure what our process will be for releasing the series. The ultimate goal, though, Chris, is to get it out to millions of people, like to reach as many people that are hopeless as we possibly can. So we're focused on that for the documentary first, and the documentary is going to get people excited and engaged, and then they might want to learn more maybe about just cancer or maybe just about depression, and then I'll have a whole episode to choose from there. So very likely at some point it'll definitely be released on the membership site. I am sure of that. Let me see, skip this question for now. Carnivore 4 months. This might be a good question for Lynn. Oxalate dumping for the last 2 weeks, scratching like crazy with a wire brush, white stuff coming out of skin. Any ideas how long this might last?
Wow.
That's challenging because I've heard of people having oxalate dumping for, a month or two at a time, depending on what's going on. And I don't know whether you are trying to, sometimes people, when they have very difficult symptoms with oxalate dumping, will drink some green tea or something just to slow down, because it's hard on the body. You can actually raise your cortisol levels, raise your blood sugar when you're under stress. And so if it's been going on for 2 weeks and you're really suffering, first of all, that will test whether or not it really is oxalate dumping. Because if you add a little bit of oxalate, like with some green tea, and you feel better, that will be a good confirmation that it truly is oxalate dumping. If it's not, and if you don't respond, it could be a histamine reaction, and you might want to take a look at the carnivore food that you're eating and see whether or not you're eating aged, smoked meats or cheeses, egg whites. It could be a histamine reaction.
That's 100% true. I just went through the worst oxalate dump I've ever had yet in 24 months. And I finally had to tap out and drink some green tea. I hadn't drank anything but water in 2 years. And I finally drank some green tea, and it was so much better. I mean, this last oxalate dump was brutal. I was even like bleeding pretty solidly from my navel. It was the craziest thing I ever seen. And the oxalate.
And it's a good point. It can come back. It's not like you have it once and it goes away. It can come back. It can come back many times over the course of years.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Next question.
Dr. Lisa is going to join us here in a minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Awesome.
Next question is for Ashley. What is everyone's favorite blend of Redmond salt? Was eyeing the taco blend.
All right. I've never tried the taco blend. I did. I know when I first started, they had a little sampler 4-pack and I tried some of those. And I'll be honest, my favorite is just the plain. I love the Redmond's real salt. We do use a lot of the smoked salt. That one, especially if you don't have a smoker, I think that one's great. My wife likes that one the best. That's her favorite as well on the steaks. Gives it a nice little smoky flavor. We cook a lot of our steaks when it's quick in the air fryer. So if we want that smoky taste, we use the Redmond's real salt with the smoke. But mine is the plain Redmond's real salt, the original. I love it.
All right, thank you, Ashley.
Speaking of salt, do we need to do a
Speaking
drawing?
of,
it's that time. Yeah, it's that time. I just sent Dr. Lisa the link, so hopefully she'll get that. We're going to be doing a drawing right now for Redmond's salt shaker. Hopefully we will be. Kerry remembered to set it up. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll get that set up here in just a second.
I can shout out. I think his name was JD468 or something. He said, "I don't believe you ate 6-7 pounds of meat a day." So, are you a betting man, JD? I'll take that bet.
Right.
Todd had a little competition last weekend, but that was tough.
Right.
It was.
All right, we're going to do a giveaway right now for the Redmond's Travel Size Salt Shaker. Here we go.
Bam.
Island Joni.
Yeah, congrats.
Congratulations, Island Joni. Where can Island Joni claim their prize, Adam?
Island Joni, you can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway and enter your details on the form, and we will send you your salt shaker.
Congratulations. All right, next up, we will be giving away a 1-month free membership to healinghumanity.life. Use #life, post #life with your question or comment. And we're going to pick one of those randomly here. Let me see. I'll put this on the bottom of the screen. All right. The next question we have is just real quick for those. Oh, hold on. Dr. Lisa, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
Howdy, howdy.
Hello.
Dr. Lisa, you are on YouTube as @Carnivore Doctor. Is that right?
Correct.
Everyone go follow Dr. Lisa if you're not following her already. We're going to be interviewing Dr. Lisa for the Healing Humanity documentary right behind me here tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to that. So we're doing a bunch of Q&As right now, Dr. Lisa. If you'd like to jump in on some of these, we're kind of going through, and we're giving away a free membership to our Healing Humanity membership site. So for those that are interested, if you have a question for Dr. Lisa or Todd, Adam, Lynn, or Ashley, post your question with #life or your comment, and we're randomly going to pick one of those here in just a few minutes. So let's see what the next question we have here is. Oh, this might be for Todd or for Dr. Lisa. I'm not sure. We're getting a lot of questions on this tonight. Any experiences with dry fasting on carnivore?
Yeah, I mean, I love it, but I'm no expert on it. So anybody that knows better than me, have at that one.
I'll put my 2 cents in. I've recently been dabbling in it because I'm always really, I feel like I'm so eager now that I've come to this space of understanding how much misinformation has been out there and how incorrectly I was, going down such the wrong road through my whole life of dieting and I just became so anxious to learn everything that I could. And when I heard that dry fasting was easier and more effective and had a huge benefit over water fasting as far as keeping muscle strength and the autophagy part of it. And so I said, oh boy, this sounds crazy. I am just going to be dying of thirst. How would I ever possibly do that? But I jumped in and I did a 48-hour, and I couldn't believe how much easier it was than water fasting. That's my personal
Wow.
experience and what I kept reading and hearing about, and it definitely played out for me. I couldn't believe that, um, yeah, that I wasn't just so parched. And then so I did a couple of 48 hours, and then I did a 5-day, um, because the August Dunning Phoenix Protocol book, right? And I've watched kind of all his YouTube videos, and I said, huh, you know what? They talk about this 5 to 7 day as being that next stage of benefit. And so I said, all right, let's do 5. 7 was going to be a little too much for me. I could just tell by the 4.5 days in, I was like, all right, I'm ready to end this. And I was very cautious about, um, I looked up all the signs and symptoms of dehydration, because that's everything. Everybody says you can't survive for 5 days without drinking and eating. And sure as heck you can. And it's pretty incredible. And I continued to pee through this. I was astonished, like, okay, and then because then you learn how your body breaks down fat tissue to make endogenous water, meaning water made from within your body. And that has to be obviously the only way to explain how you would keep peeing for after 5 days of not drinking a single drop of liquid, right? And then I would, of course, look and make sure it wasn't dark orange. It wasn't even dark yellow. It was, I was just, kind of astounded at this whole process. And so, is it something that I feel everybody has to do? No. Do I feel like there's definite healing that can come from it for people who might want to speed up a healing process, people who have inflammatory issues, people who have autoimmune issues? I do think it's something that would be interesting for you to experience. I don't like to say we're experimenting. I think that we go into it with knowledge, and you just monitor how you're feeling, and don't do it for 24 hours first and see how you go.
Yeah, I do it for 100% because it is the only thing that I've seen be so incredibly effective at getting rid of lymphatic tissue from lymphedema. That's taken off 9 inches off my right calf and 8.5 inches off my left calf.
Wow.
It's been incredible. And it's just alternating 24-hour dry fast over a 7-day period is all it's been. But I did 12 of them this summer, and those were the inches that I lost off the impacted lymphatic tissue in my legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, I just don't think, the question specifically says experience with dry fasting on carnivore. I think I'm guessing much easier than going from a carb eating diet to a dry fast. To me, that's like, I think your body's going to kind of freak out. I think where we're already fat adapted and keto adapted, I think it's just like a real natural progression. And honestly, I feel that ancestrally, which I always feel I go back to, man as an animal roaming this earth, what would happen? We wouldn't have full access to springs of water, and we wouldn't have full access to be able to hunt, and so I think we're naturally equipped to do this. And yeah, I think it's easier coming from a carnivore way of eating.
Right. Yeah, Dr. Lisa, I just did my first dry fast a week ago before coming out, starting this trip, and same experience you had. I really encourage people, if you really want to learn more, do the research, get that book, The Phoenix Protocol. It is just fascinating. You mentioned like peeing. The thing that was so interesting for me was, I think it was the author of the book or the Russian doctors that were testing this out. They would measure their urine output, and it would actually be more and more later into the fast, which is so interesting. It's like you said, the whole process that goes on in there. I wasn't thirsty at all, which was crazy to me. I thought for sure I'm going to be wanting
Parched,
water so bad.
like I just kept thinking I was going to be dying for a glass of water. And you know what? The whole difficulty of it really is more, I don't want to say boredom. I just want to say habit of actually enjoying the process of eating, that once you get it in your head, okay, I'm dry fasting, it's not that difficult.
Absolutely. All right, we have a question from Paul. And before we take the question, if there's a lot of new people jumping on right now, we're doing a giveaway for our Healing Humanity membership site. If you use #life, you have to follow each of our wonderful guests here. And I've just added Dr. Lisa's YouTube channel as well, so make sure you follow her as well. Question from Paul is, what would you consider one of the best ways to increase one's metabolism overall?
That's a big, complicated question. And there's probably no one best way, and it all depends on where somebody's coming from. But, I'd say consistent cardio, just walking and throwing in some sprints if you can, and weight training. It only takes twice a week for 30 minutes. Over on my YouTube channel, I have fitness expert, slow burn fitness expert, Fred Hahn. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's, you do very slow rep till fat failure, and you only do one set. And building muscle is real important. And I don't know. Other than that, I really go back to thinking has a lot to do with consistency of staying the course of what you've decided is optimal nutrition. And walking, throw in sprints, and stay consistent with lifting weights.
All right, thank you. Question from Helen. This might be a good one for Lynn. Will not having a gallbladder affect you in adverse way eating this way with increased fat?
So at the beginning, it could be a little more difficult to get fat adapted. I don't have a gallbladder, and I went on the carnivore diet. And so what I did was I went a little slower with having fats. But your liver still produces bile. You don't have a gallbladder, and it will adapt to the diet you're on. Some people do use ox bile as an option. The dosage really is dependent on you. So if you're going to use ox bile, you need to kind of experiment with the dosage. But the biggest thing is I just watch my symptoms, because initially when I was eating too much fat and my body wasn't adapted to it yet, because I would get increased heartburn, and that was my cue. So I would just start maybe a little slower than someone who does have a gallbladder and work your way up.
All right. Thank you, Lynn. Question from Praying Extraordinary Prayers. Would putting fresh squeezed lemon in my dandelion tea mess up the carnivore diet?
I say no. A tiny squeeze of lemon, it depends also on how sensitive you are to, some people really need to stick to lion diet for a period of time to heal. But for the most part, for most people, I would say it's totally fine.
All right. Question from Bridget. Maybe for the whole group. What kind of salt are you guys using? Does it matter what type of salt? Pink salt, flake sea salt?
0 salt for me.
I love the Malden salt, flake salt and Redmond's real salt.
Yeah, no salt for me either.
I use Redmond's. I use a whole bunch, but I use Redmond's, and I use the Malden, but I also use Baja Gold, and I use Celtic, and I just kind of rotate.
Can I ask the two no salters, elaborate a little on that, because I've talked about that quite a bit in my member group, because I have a little salt section in the resource section, because and I come from a background of highly addicted to sugar, carbs, processed foods. And I did a bit of research that salt, when you salt your food, you have there's an 11% increase in the volume that people eat, because salt actually has an addictive quality to it. And I know for myself, I did a period of time where I did no salt, and I did realize that I learned to actually just love the flavor of just the meat, and I realized that I actually do crave that saltiness. And again, for me, from a volume eating disordered person, and a person who had a very lifelong disordered relationship with food, I'll say if I have a pound of, let's say I make 2 pounds of ground beef and I'm going to make extra so I can just have it in the fridge, and I put seasonings. And one of my favorite is Redmond's seasoned salt. It's just got this really nice medley of seasonings to it. Or, you know, gosh forbid I put taco seasoning in it, or let's just say salt. Just take Malden's, whatever it is, you put salt in there. When I'm packing it up and putting the leftovers away, there's a good chance I pick at it. But if it's totally plain, I find I don't desire to eat as much, and I don't pick at it when I'm putting it away in just a weird way. And that's just, I'm just saying my personal experience. So I don't know if you guys can comment. Is it just something specific with salt and why you don't do that?
Sure, I can comment on that first. It's pretty simple. I had nausea for a year, and I went down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out if it was histamine, high histamine foods that was actually causing it. I also had leg cramps at night. Now, I understand that I'm an outlier and that this is like totally not normal in the carnivore world. But Bella did a video where she basically said she doesn't eat salt. And I thought, you know what? I'm doing the lion diet, which is beef, salt, and water. I haven't tried to eliminate salt yet. I'm definitely not going to eliminate the beef, I don't think. So I tried to eliminate the salt. And 3 days after eliminating the salt, this year-long nausea that I had went away. And the leg cramps at night completely stopped. So now I don't have any salt whatsoever. I can have it occasionally if somebody prepares the food, but I don't put any extra really on my food. And if I do multiple days in a row, that starts to come back for me. So not sure exactly what the issue is, if it's causing an imbalance in the other electrolytes that causes the cramping and the nausea, but that's why I don't do it. But I love salt. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I'd lost my taste for it. So when I started dry fasting, actually, so I did 12 7-day fasts this summer. And out of those, so every other week I would fast for 7 days, and I would do an alternate 24-hour fast, starting on one and finishing on one. So in a 7-day fast, I would do 4 periods of 24 hours of dry fasting, which actually would turn into several 72 hours, because as you said, it just turned out to be dry fasting was way easier to do than wet fasting. But on the other side of that, somewhere between in that those 12 fasts, I lost my taste for salt. I actually didn't like it, and I started drinking much less water. And when those things started happening, I started I stopped retaining so much fluid. You know, there was I my legs were becoming like these reservoirs that would fill up with fluid, because I had such huge lymphedema. My right leg was over 36 inches, my left leg was over 36. My calves were, and I would lose weight out of them, but I could cycle, I could lose 32 pounds in a night of fluid from my legs. It was getting crazy. And when I lost my taste for salt, that stopped happening. It stopped being this giant up and down cycle, and everything balanced out. And I stopped drinking. Before, I was drinking like two gallons of water a day, and now I drink like 60 ounces a day is what my body seems to want with no salt. So I've just been much happier. I don't crave it. And it's just been very beneficial for me ever since then. So,
yeah, I'll make one other comment about this. What I find is a really interesting topic, because so many people are so hung up on gotta have my salt, gotta have my electrolytes, that there's and Kerry, I'll send you the link and you can put it into the notes of the video. But there's a really interesting PDF by Owsley the Bear Stanley, and he was like a 40-year carnivore, and he did not believe that we humans should be taking in salt. And so the readings of his are really interesting. He was the sound man for, I think, the Grateful Dead, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he had a whole like LSD production side thing, like a whole real interesting background. But it's a real interesting read for, people like us. I mean, I'm almost 16 years carnivore now, and I still look at somebody like that. I'm like, God, 40 years, that's kind of crazy. But it becomes really intriguing to read somebody's, kind of his journaling. It's a free PDF. So I'll send you the link.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll post that in the notes for everyone. We're going to do a quick drawing now. 1 month free membership to Healing Humanity. Thank you for everyone that's posted with #life. Let's see here. I'm going to share my screen. Drum roll, please. Here we go. Free 30 days, healinghumanity.life for Lori. Lori, congratulations. You just won 30 free days.
All right, Lori.
Adam, how does Lori claim her prize?
Lori, you can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway and enter your details on the form, and we will get you your free membership.
All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Lori. Thank you so much. If anyone else is interested in the membership site, there's a link in the description below, and the proceeds from the membership site go to support the Healing Humanity documentary. Should we do one more of those? I know we're getting near the end of the hour here.
Sure.
One more membership site. Just quick shout out again, Independence Arc Farms. If you sign up for the email newsletter, you can be entered to win that. It is a link in the description for that. And here we go. #life. We'll do it one more time. #life. Post your question, post your comment. We'll try to get through as many of these as we can here.
And if you comment on each person's channel that's on the panel today, that gets you an extra entry into the contest.
Roel is celebrating 9 days full carnivore today. Grateful for all of the suggestions and advice from Life. Congratulations, Roel. Thank you. Ben Cox.
The great community.
Could you please talk about your daughter's struggle with hydradenitis? I've got mine into remission through carnivore and would love to hear how hers changed. Yeah, my daughter Lily suffered for 5 years with HS. It looked like acne. It was really painful. It was on her chest and it was on her back. And long story short, she had open heart surgery at 13, and they had to delay the surgery to get rid of it because it was that bad. They couldn't cut through it. She went carnivore with me on my day 8 of carnivore, and 8 days later, half of her back cleared up, and it was 30 days later, strict carnivore. It was almost completely gone from her whole body. It was crazy. Like we took her to all of these different dermatologists and specialists over the course of 5 years. No one ever mentioned nutrition, and it wasn't until I was 8 days carnivore that I had this epiphany, like, maybe it's just the food she's eating. Like I heard Michaela Peterson. I started learning more and more, and of course, that's exactly what it was. Lily then went back to keto in moderation, and unfortunately, some of those issues started coming back, but she's now been carnivore again for, I think she might be approaching like 75 days now, and she's doing really well, and everything, her face, acne, all of it's clearing up, her mood's improving. So I've heard that story, Ben, just by the way, real quick, I've heard that story from so many other people since I've told my story that have overcome things like that.
We just got a super chat also, by the way.
Oh, cool. Before the super chat, Carnivore Brothers Rhett, question about to start my first ever air fryer steak. Anyone have any tips on temperature and timing?
I think he's probably cooked a few steaks there before, but good question, Rhett. I would say it depends on your air fryer, of course, but yeah, I
And
love
the thickness of the steak,
the thickness of the
and
steak.
how
Yeah.
long you've had it sitting on the counter to come to room temperature, or if you do it from frozen. There's way too many variables. You know what? Throw that sucker in there, shake it around, flip it, press on it, take it out and eat it.
Cook it to temperature. That's my thing. Always make sure you test that temperature.
Right.
If it stops eating grass, you overcooked it.
There you go, Todd.
Mark Johnson, question for Dr. Lisa. Do you think carnivore will heal my diabetic macular edema? I reversed my type 2 diabetes carnivore for 178 days.
Okay, so here's an important thing to consider. Whenever I get asked these questions regarding, will it heal my dry eye? Will it heal my cataracts? Will it heal my glaucoma? Right? I look at this as eating this way and listening to the, now hundreds of thousands of testimonials and anecdotes. It's healed my skin issue. It's healed my joint issue. It's healed my depression. It's healed my anxiety. This is something that does not exclude an organ system of your body, right? You've got the skin, the muscles, the joints, right? It's not going to say, well, I'm just going to ignore your eyes, right? As far as reversing completely, if there's a situation where there's scarring, there's a lot to consider, especially with the eyes. But I'm going to say, yes, I've had people report to me that their macular edema, their diabetic retinopathy is reversing, healing, or halting the progression of it. So I would say, yes, definitely hold out hope and stay consistent. The worst thing you can do is go in and out of it. That gets into my, my, what I'll say niche in this is that there's so many people, you know what to do. And for many, it becomes just very difficult to overcome social situations. You've got your friends, your family, your coworkers, and there's triggers, and there's long-standing memories of these foods, and a long-standing situation where we've turned to these our DOC, our drug of choice, for emotional reasons, filling an emotional void, or for we could go on and on talking about why we have turned to food and why we feel comforted from it, and why some of us use it to numb our uncomfortable feelings. But yeah, staying consistent. I'm just going to say, just stay totally optimistic that I'm going to assume if you have macular edema that your vision is affected, because the swelling from the fluid typically does that. And I don't know if you're at the point where they've done injections, but I have had patients who have both for macular degeneration and for diabetic macular edema have definitely had a reversal and an improvement. Even somebody, if there's Sean Scott, who's noticed an improvement in his vision from retinitis pigmentosa. So yeah, our bodies are not going to exclude the eyes as an organ system for healing with this. We're healing all of humanity, not excluding the eyeballs.
Absolutely.
Can I ask a question on that? Is diabetic muscular or macular edema the same as diabetic retinal edema?
Yeah, because the macula is part of the retina, so it could be termed by some as diabetic retinal edema. But yeah, diabetic retinopathy, though, is different than macular edema. But they're all interrelated. It's actually a disease of the capillaries. And, I really do think it's from a high sugar, high carb, And also, we got to be very cautious about blocking blue light, blocking artificial lights that don't belong in our eyes too.
Okay, yeah. After 7 months, my eye doctor said he thought he had the wrong chart, because he said all the diabetic retinal edema was out of my eyes, and that the veins or whatever were no longer restricted, and that they were healthy again.
Wow.
And so it completely reversed after 7 months. So that's why I was just curious on that, because that did happen for me, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
All right. So we're at the top of the hour now. I know some of us have to run right now, but maybe we go another 15 minutes for those that can hang around, if you want to hang around. But if you got to run, no worries. Feel free. Maybe we could turbo through a couple of these questions, as a bunch of them just came through here. Is constipation normal when starting the keto diet?
I'm going to jump in and just say, just remember that there is much less waste with eating keto and carnivore. We're not eating undigestible fiber and cellulose, so there's much less bulk, much less volume. So remember that constipation would be if you're actually really kind of feeling bloated and pain and actually cannot pass any stool. But, you know, you know, we don't have to get into too much TMI here, but as a almost 16-year carnivore, I can tell you, just through all this time, for sure, the volume is way less. So don't, and a lot of people mistaken that for constipation, like, oh, I'm not going every day and it's not as much as I normally do, and all these other kind of questions. But don't overthink it. Your body knows what the hell's going on and what it's doing. Just keep going.
Yeah, I love that answer. And it's also kind of a sobering reality to realize all of the waste we were putting in our bodies for all of those years unnecessarily, the toll that must put on our bodies. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, you have to redefine constipation when you're a carnivore, because in GI we said it was if you're more than 2-3 days without a bowel movement, you're constipated. But that's not the case with being carnivore. It's just like Dr. Lisa said. You know, if you're bloating, if you have pain, if you're straining, if your stools are hard, then I would be concerned. But I've been carnivore less than 2 years, but I did have times where I went 14 days without passing a stool. And most times it's every day or every other day, but I've never had to strain. It's always, when it comes through, it's always soft and it comes through easily.
And then you can always go to the decrease your dairy, increase your fats, and see what happens.
Right. Karen Miles is looking forward to Saturday's meetup in Chicago. Looking forward to seeing.
Yes.
Karen's awesome. Karen's been to a couple of the meetups now. Looking forward to seeing you there, Karen. We just got word last night. We're all sold out, right, Ashley?
Yeah, completely sold out. It's going to be a great event. I'm super excited about it. Pray for those of us who are traveling. Make sure everybody gets there safely. It's some winter weather, but yeah, it should be an awesome event.
That's awesome. You got a super chat, Kerry.
Super chat. Let's see here. Cranky Carnivore Cutler. We met him in our Arizona meetup.
He was in Arizona, yeah.
A couple of days ago. Dr. Wiedemann, the lens for my cataract surgery is causing bleeding. Would I benefit from an extended fast prior to the replacement surgery after?
Wow. Well, I mean, from my mindset now, with a lot of going down deep in the rabbit hole of fasting, I really do think it's very beneficial for healing. So yeah, but you know, it depends on what you're calling an extended fast. And if you've not fasted before, I mean, I wouldn't, you know, jump in and go crazy on it, but start doing do a 24-hour. And if that's going well, going from dinner to dinner, just don't have that dinner. Now all of a sudden you're at a 36 and see how you feel. But yeah, I would definitely do any type of surgery or healing situation. I really do think fasting is beneficial, dry fasting in particular.
Question for Lynn. Will lamb only be completely healing with histamines? I am suffering awfully.
Well, even with lamb, the freshness of it makes a difference. And so when it comes to histamine, you want to keep your meat as fresh as possible. Fresh beef is fine as long as it's not aged. Lamb is good because any ruminant meat will be good. But the key, if you're very, very sensitive to histamine, you may need to have it be incredibly fresh. The moment you get it, freeze it. After you cook it, if you have leftovers, refreeze it and then defrost it when you're ready to eat it. So you may be extra sensitive if you're still having trouble. And it also is a matter of time. How long have you been eating low histamine? And then in addition, if you're still really suffering at the beginning, you may need to take an H1, H2 blocker just to settle those mast cells down. And I had to take both for quite a while, but it'll settle down. And if you continue to have problems, I would definitely see if you have an allergist, talk to your allergist. Hopefully you can find one that will be helpful for you, or you can connect with me if you want to ask me more questions. I'm at Lynn at healinghumanity.me.
You got 2 more supers.
Okay. Let's see here.
So
Caleb's Carnivore Quest, $2 super sticker.
He had a question earlier.
Okay. I'll have to go back up and find that one. I see this one from Chris Stearns. Not to be inappropriate. Uh-oh, what do we got here? Has any other men experienced improved performance bedroom-wise? I haven't. It's definitely another unforeseen benefit.
Yeah, I mean, that kickstand goes off now to roll you out of bed, Chris. It's crazy.
I have heard that throughout the years of interacting with carnivores that and I have to say also an increased libido for women too, not just men. So
yeah, I've heard the same, experienced similar.
Non-scale victories.
Caleb's Carnivore Quest. This was the super chat, I think. Kerry, what are your thoughts on Brian Johnson? Is that the vegan guy that's trying to extend his life out forever? I think so. Yeah, I think. What do I think? Oh, I got to be nice. I think everyone is on their own journey, and whatever works for them works. I think it's crazy, if I'm being real honest, though. I think the reason carnivore works for so many is because it's what's natural, and I think taking 500 different supplements every single night is kind of far from natural. I would love to see what would happen if Brian Johnson went carnivore for 30 days. I think it would be incredible, but. I think it's cool that he's eating natural and got rid of the standard American diet and junk food. I think that's a part of the puzzle, but I don't think it's the entire equation. So,
I want to be less nice. He's selling a freaking supplement now, and it drives me nuts. Yeah, so as soon as somebody does something dramatic, makes a big show out of it, and then puts it in a magic pill, I immediately throw it away. It's, to me, that's all nonsense, because now he's putting his super formula in a pill and he's just selling another supplement. You know,
the part I saw him on YouTube, and he had these beautiful floor to ceiling windows, and he put like tint all over them and then like sunglasses on. It's like no sun whatsoever. Right. And I'm like, he's just like white. I'm like, that's not natural. Like my biggest rule on carnivore when people ask questions is, what would humans have done since the start of time? We wouldn't have been hiding from the sun and not getting any of it whatsoever. So thank you for the super chat, Caleb. Really appreciate that. Every penny we get from those super chats goes towards our documentary. Madreen, will you post your sites? I don't know all of you. Thanks for all the great info tonight. We do have links to each of their YouTube channels in the description, so please subscribe to all of them. But Dr. Lisa, I think you have like another website as well, don't you?
Yeah, I have a membership group, and I have my YouTube channel.
Yeah, feel free to shout whatever out. You've got like some cruises coming up, right?
Yeah, and I'm actually I'm going off on a tangent because I am so passionate about community and joining people together, just like you all are, and how important it is. And so I'm doing hiking trips. Aside from, the thing with the cruises and all inclusives is that you can really get your fill as a carnivore, and I can gather a large group of people. I don't have to get a reservation or block out half of a restaurant, right? It makes it really convenient. But yeah, I'm going to be doing, actually, I have a member in my group who wants to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. So I'm going to actually try to tackle that and arrange a trip. I think I have 3 or 4 people now who are in on it. And then maybe do what I call carb sober ski trips, carb sober hikes, and just really. And I've sort of transitioned to feeling like it's so important, aside from the community of it, but getting out in nature and getting out in the sun and spending time outdoors. It's so critically important. So yeah, I have what I call sun seeker travel, and I am going to just keep trying to join like-minded people together on some amazing trips.
That's really cool.
Love that.
Just real quick, where can people go if they want to join you on some of those trips or the cruise?
Yeah, so you know what? I'll give you a link. I have a landing page, and then they can get on my email list, and that link will have them click off if they're interested in cruising, hiking, skiing, or resorts. And that way I'll just put out information as the trips come together, because there's a lot that people keep making suggestions. So I'll keep doing it as long as people are interested. And I'm really looking forward to this. And I'm hoping that I also can try to educate as far as don't fear the sun. The sun needs to go in our eyes and on our skin, and our eyes are not just for vision. And as I feel like I really want to talk about this, because I've been an eye doctor for 33 years. And I'm going to tell you, for most of my career, I was like many other, or I'm going to say most all other eye doctors, saying, you got to wear sunglasses to protect your eyes. Everybody says, oh, my doctor said I cannot be without my sunglasses. And, when you wear sunglasses, it's telling your brain that it's nighttime, and it's actually causing your skin to burn, because when you have sun getting into your eyes, it's triggering up the whole process. You guys, we got to remember, we are an incredible, it's mind-boggling how technical our bodies really are. And to think that, and it's so weird as an eye doctor now to walk around, especially because I just got off a cruise ship this morning, and be out and see everybody wearing their sunglasses. It's like, oh boy, we got to get the message out here. This is not good. This is not good at all.
100%. Yeah. I was going to talk to you a little bit more about this, Dr. Lisa. We had someone on the channel that had improved their vision on Carnivore. And then we had more, like Lynn, and I think a couple people on this call, where I was just like, well, wait a minute. You had your eye test before Carnivore and you had it after, and people seeing improvements where their eye doctor's like, that's kind of weird. Normally the vision goes in the wrong direction. Long story short, Dr. Lisa, I'm trying to put together a big video that I wanted to invite you to join in on if you're interested. Just going over this, because there's tons of people that are, and they have it in their records. So it's really cool to see that their vision's improving on Carnivore.
Yeah, actual changes in prescription, and also improvement in floaters, improvement in dry eye, improvement in chronic, chalazion, the styes. Yeah. And I've even had people reporting, and I get so many questions saying, oh, my sister was, is a glaucoma suspect, and they're putting her on drops, and would Carnivore help her? And I got to say, through my years as a carnivore and an eye doctor, you have to imagine the position I get put in. Number one, for me to tell a patient to go home and clear out their pantry and refrigerator, and that's a little bit not standard of care and not within the scope of what they would consider I should be doing. So I'm going to say it gets very difficult. And I was not, except for very specific situations, actually having a bit of this talk. But it's been so rewarding and so extremely interesting on my side of it, to get these people who come back for a 6-month follow-up and are pretty much literally in tears and hugging me, and having reversed situations. So all I can say is I'm going to go back to what I said with that other super chat question with the macular edema. Our bodies, we're no dummies. We're here to evolve. We're here to heal as long as we get out of the way and try to remove all the toxins. And removing toxins isn't easy. We have, aside from the whole food aspect, I just talked a bit about the light aspect. And then we've got the non-native EMF, right? And then, all of these things, like don't be on your phone while it's charging. Don't be on your laptop while it's charging. Try to mitigate, certain things. We should be shutting our Wi-Fi off at night. I'm still trying to figure out how to get mine on a switch and do all that. But, you could start going crazy. But I really do truly believe I've been doing a lot of research into this whole quantum biology, that we are equally destroying our health with all of the other non-natural toxic things that we expose ourselves to that were never meant to be part of our lives as human animals.
All right, good stuff. Okay, we got one last question from Carnivore Stan. Could oxalate dumping accelerate the progress of cataracts?
I don't think oxalate dumping is related specifically to cataracts. Cataracts are more a combination of, sugar, carbs, the glycolytic reaction that happens with that, and also the artificial lights. So if we talk about ALAN, 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 artificial lights at night, our eyes, once the sun has set, it's very unnatural to have any lighting entering our eyes. We should have sunlight, moonlight, firelight, candlelight. That's about it. So that I'm really, from everything that I'm looking at for the progression of cataracts, is wear blue blocker glasses, try to get your whole home environment to be very dim, low light once the sun sets, and keep your diet clean.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Lisa. All right, we have our final drawing for the night. We're giving away a 30-day free membership to healinghumanity.life. Here we go. The final winner of the night is Danny Singleton. Congratulations. You just won 30 days. Healinghumanity.life.
Awesome.
Again, if you didn't win, you can get 50% off. There's a link in the description right now. Get 50% off your first month. And we have multiple Zoom calls. We have our Breaking Addictions call, which has been helping a lot of folks out. And we have courses, and the proceeds from the Healing Humanity site go towards the documentary Healing Humanity. So thank you all so much for your super chats and for your great questions. Thank you for everyone here on the call as well. Make sure to check out and subscribe. Adam Carnivore Today, Lynn Midlife Carnivore, Dr. Lisa Wiedemann at Carnivore Doctor, at the Carnivore Cure Todd, and Ashley at Carnivore Brothers. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Before we go, Danny, congratulations on winning the membership. You need to go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway and enter your details on the form, and we'll make sure that that Lynn actually will send you this way. Lynn will send you the details for your membership.
And if I could do I could do a quick
I was just
shout
going to say,
out.
check your spam folder. If you don't see something from me, it will be coming from Lynn at healinghumanity.movie.
All right.
I just wanted to say a quick hi. I have two of my member groups in here, Julie and Rose from my groups, who gave shout outs to me. I just wanted to thank them for joining in and commenting over there about my groups. And, you know, I feel so this is incredible. This whole community that's formed, grassroots. I mean, it has its a whole life of its own, and I feel that the connection that people are getting by trying to help each other and heal each other, and it's you know, I don't it's indescribable, and that's why I always say, if you can get yourself to a meetup and you've never been to a meetup, it will be the most magical, inspiring, motivating thing you've ever done. And that's the other thing I'm on a mission, is to try to do a meetup in every state. But for sure, you know, it's about the connection and the support in the community, because from my misery, I always felt, if I can help one person out of the misery that I've been through, being so highly addicted to sugar and carbs, you know, it's worth it to me just to be able to help one person. And I know we all here are so passionate to just keep spreading the word so that we can get more and more people on board to heal themselves.
Absolutely.
Sure.
With you 100%.
Amen.
Dr. Lisa, real quick before we wrap up, have you done a meetup in Alaska yet?
No, I've not ever yet been to Alaska, but it is on the list. So I don't know. You got something in the works?
Yeah, my buddy Bill in Alaska. We don't have anything scheduled yet. No pressure, Bill, if you're watching, but we've been talking about doing one for a while. That would be awesome. So we'll definitely send you an invite for that. But I agree with you. The meetups are absolutely incredible. Really looking forward to this one with Dr. Lisa on Saturday, and Dr. Hampton and Dr. Kiltz.
Yes.
It's gonna be special. So thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. Have a good night. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.